What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader, also known as John, coming back to you with another figure review. I thought today we'd take a look at another one of the figures that I received in my recent AFA shipment, and today I thought we'd talk about the 1986 Japanese Takara GI Joe Zartan, and he's the figure in the middle here. This is one of the harder figures to find in that line. And for those of you who are considering collecting vintage G.I. Joes or already collect G.I. Joes that are vintage, the Takaras were made in Japan and were licensed by Hasbro to be made in Japan. They did not sell that well over in Japan, for obvious reasons. I mean, most of these are American characters from the American cartoon series, so there wasn't a huge amount of demand for them. And you can still find them on the card way cheaper than you can, on the U.S. cards. So, for me, I love international figures of all varieties, Star Wars and G.I. Joe, and collecting these was a no-brainer for me because they're a lot more affordable, and you can still find them in excellent condition and grade-worthy. And so, here you have 5 examples. But I wanted to talk mainly about the Zartan today, but I did want to mention that before we get started that, for anyone looking to collect vintage G.I. Joes, and the Takara manufacturing process is very good. It's I cannot tell the difference between a Takara G.I. Joe versus a Hasbro G.I. Joe. I'm sure more discerning or more expert collectors could tell that, out of the package. But what I'm trying to get at is that the quality is very high. And, to get, for example, a Cobra Commander still on a mint card or close to mint card on a U.S. Card back is very expensive. I mean, many thousands of dollars. Whereas, this one that I picked up from a Japanese exporter on eBay and had it graded and it came back with a near mint score, I mean, I spent maybe a total of $150. So it's quite a bit less expensive to collect some of these really hard to find figures or very expensive figures if they were on the American card back. But the Zartan, the one in the middle here, that's actually kind of a unique case because this figure was never released on a individual card back here in the US. He did come with his swamp skier called the Chameleon as as the driver, and it was a little box set type thing. It was a green swamp skier that was plastic and had like a tow, a trailer that would you could tow behind it, and it was a very cool figure and vehicle. Those graded now go for a lot of money, a whole lot of money, hundreds of dollars, if not more. And but the reason I wanted to get this one is, number one, I already had a huge Takara collection, but two, given that this is the only vintage Zartan that I know of anyway that's carded, other than like bootlegs or Russian made or the India Fun Schools, there might be a Zartan there. I've never seen one, but I'm sure there could be. But in terms of high quality, Hasbro quality G.I. Joes, this Zartan on the Takara 1986 back is the only one that I know of. And of the Takaras, this is definitely one of the harder ones to find in good condition. They go for quite a bit of money, mainly probably because of that. Probably because he was, typically only available in that box set. But let's take a closer look at him, and we can talk more about Zartan. Hold on one second. So here we are. As you can see, it's got the Japanese writing up top for G.I. Joe, and it's got the cool Cobra logo up here in the corner. And then we have a picture of Zartan for the artwork, and he's very similar in style to the actual figure. He does come with, it shows a face mask here. Zartan was the master of disguise, and for his accessories here, it's difficult to see, but you can see that little face mask there. He comes with a pistol as well as a backpack. That backpack opens and it has a perfectly indented hole to put that face mask in there. So, he's known for being able to change faces, change appearances, aliases, and in the cartoon as well as in the comic, that played a big role. And here's the figure itself, a very cool looking figure. The chest plate has got kind of translucent piece there. That whole piece does snap off. It comes off and is designed to come off. You can see a little thumb tab there at the bottom near his stomach. You can use that to kind of pull that up and take that off if you wanted to, as well as the two knee pads. Those do also come off. When these were originally released, at least in the U.S., I'm not sure if that's the case with this Takara version or not, but the U.S. version had some kind of manufacturing plastic in there that allowed his skin to change color. And his skin would kind of turn into like a yellowish green, a very light yellowish green in sunlight. And that's that kind of, characteristic of Zartan. He hates sunlight, and because it changes his skin a different color, he's like a vampire almost. And that was a big role in the cartoon series as well as in the comics. So I do not know if the Takara version did that or not. My guess is it probably did not, but I know that the US version did do that because I remember playing with it as a kid and it would change color. That color changing shtick did not work very well, though. It didn't last long inside the plastic, and certainly for vintage figures it does not work anymore. But anyway, you can see kind of the information here, 1986, and it's got the US rights reserved, made in Hong Kong. And let's take a look at the grading here. It's a 1986 Hasbro Takara GI Joe Japanese release Zartan, and this is one of the better ones in my collection now. Like I said, I just got this back from grading, and it came back with a card 85, a bubble 85, and a figure 90, which is awesome. And I did get the upgraded archival case to protect it, from UV rays, and so it's an overall 85 Near Mint Plus. I bought this ungraded. It's unpunched on the hanger tab there, and it just looked absolutely mint on the card, and it was a highly competitive bidding process, but I definitely wanted to get one just because it's one of the better figures in the line. So, very, very cool. Let's take a look at the back now. The backs are a little bit different, as I've talked about in previous videos. The backs just show the figures in different kind of poses and action, kind of different action poses. And, I've got most of these now. Of these figures, for those of you considering collecting them, by far, the Snake Eyes with his Timber Wolf is the hardest one to find. I've been looking for about a year now on eBay, and I've never even seen one available on the card. And so they go for very expensive prices, even ungraded, probably $300 to $400 ungraded if it's in good condition. And then, so that's probably the most expensive or the hardest to find, with Zartan being number 2. The Duke is also highly coveted, as well as the Baroness and the Firefly. So you've seen my Firefly in a different video. But those are the most difficult figures to find. Those, let's call it those 5 or so. And then Zartan, as you know, he's kind of the leader of the Dreadnoks. And he had 3 Dreadnoks that were available in this line. We have Buzzer, Torch, and Ripper. There was another Dreadnought named Monkey Wrench that came out later, but he was not available on the Takara card. So it also does come with a mini file card, all written in Japanese, as you can see, as well. And then this over here on the left is a checklist. So that's all the figure names, and very, very cool. It looks like altogether there's 24 of them. I think I've got now 12 of them. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd take give you guys a quick tour of this one. It does also have flag points. I never noticed that before, but yeah, they do have proof of purchase flag points for getting, mail-aways and things like that. And the Takara Japanese line is not limited to only carded figures. They did also do vehicles. There were a number of iconic vehicles from the GI Joe line that they did, including the Rattler Jet, the Cobra Rattler, the Snowcat, which is a GI Joe snow Arctic assault vehicle. There is a tank with Cover Girl. There's the Ferret, the Cobra Ferret, which is like a 4-wheeler. The Dragonfly helicopter. So there's a number of vehicles that you can get, and they are readily available mostly from Japanese sellers. Most of them have been unsealed. You can still find them with sealed contents, the sealed baggies with them, but the actual box themselves have been opened, most of them. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you a quick tour. Over here on the left, we have Torch, which is another Dreadnought. I've had him for a while in my collection. Obviously, we got Cobra Commander, Destro, and then Major Blood. But this Zartan, of the ones that I own, this is easily the best one I have, and I was very happy to get such a high score back on it. Anyway, that's all I had. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.